Hey y'all, welcome back. Thanks so much for stopping by. My name is Crystal, and it's that time of the week for me where I am going to do my weekly reading update to just chat about what I got into last week for reading. So, we're going to dig right on in, and as usual, we'll start with the things that I finished, which first up will be Survivor by JF Gonzalez. This was the Vision of the Month for Wanda Plagued by Visions monthly read-along. And I think last week when I was telling you about it in my weekly update, I was like, it was and it ended up being yeah. It was fine. It didn't blow me away, and it was fine. I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. It was very much middle of the road for me. The gist of it is we've got this married couple, Lisa and Brad. They are lawyers, and they, of course, they work a lot. And they are finally. I've got some time to get away for the weekend, for like a long weekend, and they're both really excited about that. Lisa will be telling Brad that she just found out that she's pregnant, and so that's going to be exciting. Looking forward to a nice, relaxing weekend. Well, they meet this guy who has other plans for them, ends up kidnapping Lisa, and wouldn't you know it, she's going to be the next star in these snuff movies that he's involved in. So basically the story goes from there. Lisa on her side, dealing with that, trying to get away from the people, yada yada yada. Brad on his side, who's left, trying to find Lisa and all that good stuff. So that's the overall gist of the story. Now, so it's about making snuff movies, so of course there's lots of torture, rape, murder, blood and guts, all that good stuff in here. So if that's not your thing, then you don't want to read this. But really, it reads like a thriller, like a standard kind of thriller. It's the way the plot moves along, and we get a couple little twists and turns, and it just has this really in-depth torture scenes interspersed in between the thriller story. So this came out, was it 2006? Let me look again to make sure. Yeah, 2006. So it's considered kind of one of the early, sort of extreme horror, type books, and I can definitely see why it's very descriptive in the torture scenes, all that, like I said, all that good stuff, all the details are there. But yeah, it was fine. Like I said, it was fine. I was hoping that I'd feel a little more connected to the characters, particularly like Lisa, since she's the one that's gonna be murdered. But I don't know. I just kind of didn't. Not really caring about anybody, and just kind of not what I was hoping for. I was hoping to be a little more emotionally attached. But I think if you're a horror reader who's into this type of story, with that kind of extreme details, I think it's definitely a must read, to kind of check that box off of reading one of the earlier, books in that sort of subgenre. But yeah, so I'm glad I read it, and again, it was fine for me. It was fine. It is a great cover, though. If I say so. If a dismembered finger can be pretty. So yeah, again, I think I give it 3 stars. Very just middle of the road for me, and it was fine. Okay, let's move on. I did finally get into my rereads for March. And I have one kind of reread planned a month for myself, and I dug into Paper Girls, the graphic novel series. This is written by Brian K. Vaughn, and artwork is by, I think, a couple of folks. Let me make sure. Artworks by Cliff Chiang. Colors are Matt Wilson. Letters are Jared K. Fletcher. I'm assuming that's the same throughout. Yeah. And really enjoyed my reread of this series. Yeah, so my rereads were basically books 1 through 5. So there's number 1, just so you can look at these great covers. There's volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, volume 5, maybe my favorite, I'm not sure. And then volume 6 was new to me because I hadn't read this one yet, so I wanted to reread the 1 through 5 so I could finish out the series. And it was great. I really like Paper Girls. It's strange and odd. It's confusing a lot of the times. But I just, it's like, I just dig it, you know what I mean? So we have these 4 girls in the beginning, in the 1980s, and they are paper girls, the first paper girls in the town, because of course it's usually paper boys, right? And they meet up on the morning after Halloween to kind of do their routes together, because it's, night after Halloween, people are still doing pranks and that kind of thing. And while they're out doing their thing, they come across a time machine, and that just throws the whole story, into a wild time travel story where they go backwards and forwards, and all throughout time there's like this kind of war going on between people. I mean, it's kind of complex. As far as, again, what's going on, and some of them meet themselves in the future, that kind of thing. And I don't know, it's just good. I don't know. I really enjoy the artwork of it. The colors that are used throughout. So these guys are some of the future people they meet that are from the future. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just really fun. And so yeah, I'm glad to reread it and then finish that 6th one to finish it out. So I recommend it if you're into something if you want to just, a little something different, a little, like I said, a little mind bending, a little, if you don't mind being confused a little bit in kind of these middle parts, and you're just following these girls as they're trying to get back to their time. It's a fun ride, and the characters are a lot of fun, and yeah, I enjoy it. Where can I set these? Set them on the floor. Okay. All right, so then I had a few ebooks that I finished up. So the first one was Sinkhole by John Wayne Communale. Is it Communale or Communale? I'm not sure. This was a fun one. This is a fun story, period. We've got this like kind of married couple. They've been married for a little while, the wife's getting on the husband's nerves, that kind of stuff. She pays more attention to her cat than him, that whole thing. And they're living, I think it was Texas. And the guy's looking out one night, and he's like, something's funny in the yard. And what it looks like they've got a sinkhole forming in their backyard. And so they call the sheriff out and stuff. He looks at it, he's like, yeah, I've got to call somebody from the city on this one to check it out. And well, wouldn't you know it, it turns out there's zombies in the sinkhole. And yeah, they just start coming out. So it's fun. It's really fun. I think if you just go in expecting just a lot of fun with this one, don't take it too seriously, you will really enjoy this story, because it is like I said, it's crazy fun. We've got these zombie kids, and they are pretty brutal, so you get a lot of good blood and guts going on, and it's just humor with this like married couple. Like you could just tell that they've been married like so long, and they're just stuck in their ways, It's just, I don't know, it's just funny. If you need something that's like short, funny, gross at the same time, give it a go. Honestly, it was it was a lot of fun. So Sinkhole definitely was a lot of fun. All right, then I had a little twofer. I dug into Brian Bowyer's Road Harvest and Road Narrows. I really enjoyed these. I mean, I'm a Brian Bowyer fan, so I kind of knew that I would like them. And yeah, I did. So I think I'm going to do a little separate book chat for those too. So look out for those to come. And, but yeah, I had a lot of fun with those too. And the last thing that I finished up just last night on the 31st is Iain Banks's The Wasp Factory. This is, sort of a classic of the weird genre, weird, disturbing type of genre, and so I finally dug into it. But I read this with Kelsey from over at Slime and Slashers, and yeah, we had a really good chat about it last night. And I kind of don't know how to talk about this one because it is bizarre and strange. So basically, we follow this guy named Frank. He feels like he's probably like a young man. You never seen him maybe like, I don't know if it ever really says, I don't remember, 18 to like young 20s, that kind of thing. Because he goes to the bar and drinks, so he's at least 18 because this does take place in Scotland. So which I think their drinking age is different than here in the US. Anyway, so he lives on this island, and like I said, in Scotland with his dad. Now, once upon a time, when Frank was a young kid, he murders three other little kids. One is his brother, a cousin. I forget who the other one was now. Anyway, another little kid. But now he's grown up and he's like, I'm over that. I mean, that was just like a phase of my life. That's something I went through. And, I'm moving on from that now. Okay. But Frank is odd. Frank is an odd little character. He has this sort of mundane yet obsessive things that he does with his day-to-day, his daily things. He goes out on the island and he has these like poles that are set up throughout that he kind of marks with things like, urine and I don't know what all kinds of crazy stuff, and he puts like dead animal heads on the top of them. I don't know if it's some sort of like warning beacon, kind of safety thing is what it feels like. He blows up like rabbit dens. He does capture wasps and has this thing called the Wasp Factory, which he uses to sort of prophesize and try to get direction from about what to do next in his life. I'm telling you, it's strange. And there's this sort of sub-story of his brother Eric, who has been locked away in a mental institution because he has lost. He had witnessed some things and like just kind of went off the deep end. And but he escaped the mental institution and is now possibly on his way back home. It's a strange story. Again, I just don't know how to talk about it without really just giving everything away. So the writing style took a little bit to get into. It's very, not so much like stream of conscious. I mean, kind of, sort of, but it is, like I said, you just get these mundane things that he does every day. I'm going to go out, I go out and I check my little polls. And then like what we have for dinner with his dad, he cooked curry tonight. And like I go out to the bar with my friend, and then I got really drunk, and then I got a phone call from Eric. He's crazy on the phone. I was like, and then he'll kind of flash back sometimes though and tell us the stories of the things that happened, his mother, who's not in the picture anymore, the murders that he did. We get the details of what happened there. I don't know how to talk about this book, but and then like at the ending it's kind of like, what I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I don't know, it's a strange one. It has this sort of uncomfortableness just like underneath everything. It's eerie, very strange. Frank is just like I said, just a strange character. Yeah. So I'm glad to have finally read this one because it's definitely been on my list for a while. I can see why it's disturbing to a lot of people. Again, there is murder of kids in here by another kid. And there is animal abuse and animal torture, like a lot in here. So I know people don't like that. So just know that that's in here. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a bizarre little thing. And I'm not quite sure how I feel about it yet. I think I kind of went with 4 stars just because I did, keep turning these pages after I got like really into it, after like those first few chapters, I'm like, oh God, what am I reading here? But once I got into it, like, okay, I gotta see where this is gonna go, So it definitely kept me interested and all that. So yeah, that's kind of early thoughts because I just finished it last night, and yeah, glad to have read it. And yeah, Wasp Factory, check it off the list now. So thanks, Kelsey, for everybody reading with me. It was definitely nice to have someone to chat with on that one because it's kind of like, what? Anyway, so that's the things I finished tonight. So that finishes out March for me, basically. And yeah, so I had a pretty good reading month. I didn't get everything on my TBR for March. I had some of my middle grade books I didn't get to. Like I didn't get to Graveyard Book. I didn't get to Res Dogs. I didn't get to Dark Deep. And I didn't get to The Good Son. But I could end up on another TBR another day. I knew I was not going to finish everything that I had on my March TBR because it was a million books on there, and I didn't get to this one either. It was a reread anyway, but I didn't want to reread it with the book club, but that's fine. I do still have some things in progress. I'm finishing out Grey Bastards. I'm hoping to finish that soon. And I'm finishing out, and I did start Into the Dark by Claudia Gray, the new High Republic book for the Star Wars series. I'm reading that with Brad Proctor, and I'm half-ish way through that, so we'll finish that up probably maybe over the weekend or so. And I think that's kind of it as far as like the end of March kind of thing. So I read 30 things in March. I mean, that's a lot. I read a lot of short stories. I read like, a couple of the Rob Shepard stories and some of the short Sonora Taylor story collections, that I did those, and the V. Castro story collection that was short. And again, I read a bunch of middle grade books, of course, for middle grade March. So those, you go through pretty quickly. So if you do just like a quick little March wrap up, gosh, my favorite book was probably Exquisite Corpse. I have it up here. I didn't grab it. It was probably Exquisite Corpse, honestly. I ended up really loving that book. I just thought it was fantastic. And I really did love The Color Purple. That was great. Black Leopard Red Wolf was a surprise. Really loved that one. So yeah, I had a great reading month. And I read a lot of books. That's so crazy. So now we'll dig into April. Go with my April books, so that'll be fun. So yeah. So that's it. That's my week. Let me know what you read last week, and happy reading here for April. Moving into really the good spring bits around here. Pollen, of course, is everywhere here in North Carolina, and we're sneezing our heads off. Fun times. So that's going to do it for me. Thanks so much for watching. As always, I'm always so appreciative of your time. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye, friends.